Yeah.
Hey everyone. Those kids. We started a series last week based on the Kleshas, and the Kleshas are the mental afflictions that are the root cause of our suffering. So in the Yoga Sutras, if you look at Patanjali's book that he compiled, it says in there, life is suffering, but the very next verse says, but suffering can be avoided. And then it starts to educate us on the 5 different categories. The first one we went over last week was avidya. And avidya is all about ignorance and delusion, not being able to perceive or really know the true self or the true state of reality. So that's like the one that all the other categories kind of fall underneath. And then this week we started with asmrita, which is the ego. So it's ego identification. So anything that's based on I, me, mine, you know, the ego is something that we all are very aware of. We know that when someone's really full of themselves, they're trapped in the ego. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, someone with really low self-esteem is also suffering due to a lack of confidence with their ego. The ego is something that we tend to put a connection to, whether it's our personalities, our likes, our dislikes, our strengths, our weaknesses, our successes, our failures, but we are not those things. I mentioned on Monday, we are not even our race, we are not our gender. When it all boils down to the true self is that inner awareness or that deep inner witness that is behind and underneath it all. So Eckhart Tolle wrote The Power of Now, he wrote The New Earth, and actually A New Earth is something that I wanted to start a series on, and then I realized, no, I want to do the Kleshas first. We may end up doing that book as a series of classes, maybe when the series is over or closer to the holidays. But he has an acronym in there for the ego, and he says an acronym for the ego is edging God out. When we look and discover the true self within, it's due to our connection to source. It is that divine spark inside, that sense of expression that we uniquely have. So we're going to start on our backs. Here. Separate your feet when you recline. And place your hands just lightly on the solar plexus. And that's the 3rd chakra region. The general place of this is in between the navel and the ribs. I'm having our hands placed here not only to practice some deep diaphragmatic breath, but also to recognize that the yogis say this is the seat of the ego. So go ahead and begin your breath work, breathing in, breathing out through the nose. Allowing the belly to increase and swell as you breathe in, and to softly deflate as you breathe out. As you're breathing this way, you're going to start to notice the wheels of the mind slowing down. Perhaps any anxious feelings disintegrate. And perhaps some restlessness in the body subside. Because the breath holds that power to do so. As you invest in your breath, please remember that this investment with our breath is a way to go within. It is a way to thin the veil. It is a way to decrease the influence of the ego, to tap us into the higher self, the inner witness. We are going to be doing a flow practice today, adding in a few yin postures in the mix. Today is a full moon in Aries, but Aries is about action. Full moons are about illuminating something. And so you may be gearing up to start something, to take action towards something. This particular full moon is ushering in energy that's going to continue to stir up through the end of the year. So it's important to keep our practice and to stay disciplined in our practice. So that we won't be influenced by the outer chaos, but rather stay in the midst of our own inner calm. Take 3 more breaths here. We're going to slide the feet closer together at this point. And we're going to stack the hands literally underneath our seat. And create a triangle between your thumbs and index fingers and let your tailbone sit in between that. Your elbows are slightly fanned out away from your ribs. You're going to point the toes and we're going to inhale, start with a double leg lift. So pike the legs up in the air. Flex the feet and then exhale, lower the heels towards the ground, but hover and hold. Inhale, point and pike the legs skyward to the point of your flexibility. Exhale, dorsiflexion in the ankles as they lower back towards the ground. Hover and hold, and on your in-breath, elevate the legs. And as you exhale, descend the legs and feet. Continue this process, just warming up the core, hip flexors, and lower body. Moving at the pace of your rhythmic breath. And then on the next exhalation, hover and hold. And then spill the feet to the floor. And once you do so, releasing your hands. Fly just your right leg skyward for Padangusthasana A. And we're just going to lace the hands around the leg today. Lift your heels skyward and then spread the toes. And also equally press up through the padding of the foot. Lengthen out through the left leg, press out through the left heel. And then test the waters. If you want to go a little deeper and your body allows, you can take the hands to the calf or wrap the first 2 fingers around the big toe. Remember to let go of the ego. There's nothing to prove to yourself or to another. That competitive nature is conditioned. On your next out breath, go ahead and release your hold. Slowly sail the foot back down. And then inhale, elevate your left leg up. Taking this stretch a little bit deeper since the double leg lifts open the hamstrings. Let's see if we can hold and maintain a deeper stretch. Flex through the ankles, spread through the toes, activate the muscles more. Fire into your right leg. Try not to hold your breath. Experiment here, see if you can take it up to the calf. Maybe hooking the fingers around the big toe. Holding and breathing. Exhale, release your grip, lower the left foot back to the floor and separate the feet wide. Now inhale, take the arms overhead so you're creating kind of an X-shaped form with your body. Inhale, lift the right arm, head, chest, left leg. So we're lifting the head today and crossing over the midline. Go ahead and spill back to the floor. Inhale, lift your right leg, left arm, head and chest. Good, and exhale, recline. With this nice, slow, rhythmic pace. And just as we hovered and held the heels right above the floor in that earlier exercise, for this one, see if you can pump, cross, lift, maintain a brief hold before you release out. So notice what we've been doing here, even though you feel like you're working the legs, and we are. A lot of this movement already is stemming from the core, the indwelling place of the ego. We were talking Monday, there is a healthy aspect to the ego. We need an ego to a certain extent to help us to find our place in life, to give us a strong work ethic, to drive us towards our desires. But it can get out of balance. Go ahead and release the head back to the floor. Bring the feet closer together. But now your arms are going to angle into goddess or cactus arms. Okay, so when you bring the elbows down and bring the arms in that 90-degree angle, this is where we're going to be when we're reclined. As you inhale, draw the left knee in, pick up your right arm, cross the elbow over towards the inner knee, and then release back down. Inhale, bring your right knee in, lift your left arm and cross it over. Good, and release. Continue this process, twisting with the core work, getting in the side oblique work, crunching in the center of the belly, which is the rectus abdominis muscles. So the more you contract that area, the easier it will be for the head to lift. Just do one more to each side. Once you recline down, hug both knees into your chest. But since it's a full moon today, I'm not planning on being too rambunctious. Not overly heating, which is why we're going to come into some poses that can cool and calm us back down. Remember, you can keep the knees kind of knit together, but if you prefer the yin stirrup position, you can separate the knees wide open. Close the eyes. Affirming as you hold, I reduce my scattered forces to rise up and away into the sky. I reduce the influence of the ego so it's not creating any suffering. Bring the feet gently down to the floor. Bring the arms beside you, palms facing downward. We're going to go into a bridge flow. So as you press down through the soles of the feet, sweep the arms up overhead, tuck and lift. So thighs, hips, abdomen are lifting upward. And as you exhale, bring the arms and circle them around you as you lower down one vertebra at a time. Continue that rocking motion. Inhale, coming into bridge form. And exhale, rolling down to the lumbar area of your back. Again, rhythmic breathing and pacing yourself according to the breath. Going up on the inhale, coming down on the exhale. Last one. You lower down to your back. You can affirm internally. I offer every thought as a bridge to divine grace. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Pick up your left foot. Go into eye of the needle pose. Hands laced behind the left thigh bone. Feet stay flexed. As you're drawing it in towards your heart. Notice what you've been storing and carrying around on that right side. And gently release. Uncross the right ankle, take the left ankle over the right knee, pick up the right foot. Lace your hands together behind your right thigh. Flex the feet. Keeping and maintaining the active approach to this pose today. So if we're staying active with this pose today, keep that right knee kind of in line with your right side of your chest or shoulder, instead of allowing it to hang towards the midline. One last breath. And release. Let's go ahead and stamp the right foot down, left foot can join beside it. Roll to one side of your body and go ahead and come on up. When you come up to sit, you're going to sit in a cross-legged position. Your right hand's going to cross over to your left knee. The left arm's going to sweep up and you're going to curve towards the front door. If it's too much to maintain that hold on your knee, you can let it go and set the hand to the outer frame of your hip instead. Inhale, rise up to the top. We're going to take the left hand to the right knee. The right arm sweeps up, curve to your left. Breathe into your right side body. Inhale, bring it right back up. And we're going to come to stand. So we are going to flow, even though it's the full moon. But we'll go at a slower pace. So ground and root your feet. Lock in your legs. Zip up your midriff. And bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. As you inhale, let the arms sweep up alongside your face. And as you exhale, begin to swan dive forward and down to your Uttanasana. It's okay to have a soft bend in the knees today if you don't want to be as structured. Let your head bow over. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway up. Shine the heart ahead. And then exhale, let it go. On your next inhalation, you're going to step your left foot back and sink the back knee, shin, and foot to the floor. Keep allowing yourself to drip down towards gravity. Plant your left palm to the earth. Take your right arm and extend it forward. Clockwork it up towards the ceiling. Take it towards the wall behind you. And bring it back down alongside your right foot. And you're going to do that a couple more rounds. Inhale, circling the right arm up, over, back, and down. Last round. Now go ahead and spill the right palm to the floor, but soften your elbows and bow your head. Becoming a little bit more yin-ish in your approach. Let your body get droopy and heavy. Close the eyes. There is a meditation that I think works really well with the subject matter today. And we'll utilize it in Shavasana, but I'll go ahead and say it's called Neti Neti. And basically when things are formulating in the mind, or things are distracting you and taking you away from that true inner awareness or higher self, it's basically noticing those things and saying, not this, not that. I'm not this, I'm not that. So when we're holding these yin poses a little bit longer today, you can go ahead and apply that technique. We're going to slowly start to elevate the head up, curl the back toes under, and lift the back knee. We're stepping it to plank. And from plank position, we're sinking to the knees. When we sink to the knees, we're actually going to lift the toes, dip the hips, bending the elbows, and coming down to the floor. When you come down to reside on your chin, see if it's possible to take your hands back to find the tops of the feet, and then you're gently pulling the feet down towards the buttocks. So it's like a half frog. If it's too much to be on the chin, you can turn to the third eye, or to one side of your face. One more breath. Now release the feet, send them to the ground. Walk the forearms out in front of you and arrive into sweet pose. So you're retracting and pulling the belly in and up away from the floor, stretching back through the leg bones and toes, lifting through the heart and the crown of the head. Finding a comfortable position for your neck. Eyes open to gaze at a particular spot. Feeling some heat and strength in the back body. Now to be more yin here, you have a couple options. You can separate the feet, walk the hands out into prayer hands, or you can come to seal, separating the hands a little wider than shoulder distance, hands slightly dialing away from one another, propping onto the stilts of the arms. And each day may be different in how your body responds, which is why we want to leave the ego out of the equation. What's best today? Gently lower back down towards your chest. The hands are going to be located up underneath the shoulder bones. Draw the big toes together. Lift up to table. Scoop the belly in slightly and then sink back towards extended child's pose. We were getting some compression in the low back, but continue to contract the lower part of the belly. Rock up like you're coming to cat stretch. Curl your toes under and then lengthen into downward facing dog. So what was rounding is now straightening. Stretch through the underside of the arms, through your side body, through the back of your legs. Find the rhythm of your breath again. Maintain it. Then inhale, left foot steps ahead in between the hands. The back knee will sink down, untuck the back toes. Plant your right palm, take the left arm forward, clockwork it up, all the way back down alongside your foot. Inhale forward and up. Exhale back and down. Last one. And that gives us a chance to open up the range of motion in the shoulder, but also gain the benefits of a twist before we surrender back into the pelvic floor. Soften your elbows, hang your head, close the eyes. And if it's challenging to maintain a rhythmic breath, it may feel more natural and better to do a longer out breath in this position. Patience as you become the inner seer, the witness underneath and behind this sensation, this position, this thought process. Inhale, slowly lift the head up, curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, and step the back foot forward, folding into self. Inhale, root down to rise up. Exhale, hinging again, coming into your Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. Of course, you can always switch it to dangling, even though we're not going to hold it as long. Inhale, let's lift halfway up. Exhale, pour down. This time, we're going to inhale, step the right foot back. And when the right foot steps back, lunge through that front knee, then set the back knee to the ground. Plug the right palm into the floor. Keep the back toes curled under this time, because we're going to reach the left arm forward, clockwork it up like we did earlier, except this time when the arm comes back behind us, we're going to pick up the back foot, catch it with the hand, stay in the twist, keep looking around to your left. So there's a main meridian that travels up the front of the body, right through the center of the thigh, what you're experiencing here, and it's for the stomach meridian. Chinese medicine says stress and worry can really impact the stomach. So consider as you're in this pose, breathing slowly and deeply, that you're helping to disintegrate any stress or worry from your mind and body. Exhale, let's release that handhold, curl the back toes under, step it into your plank position. From plank, descend your knees, lift your feet, lower down like we did earlier. With the feet staying up, you're gonna bring the forearms in front of you, like we're doing a cross blend between Sphinx and Frog right now. But we're actually going to turn the left forearm in, take the right hand around, and you're going to take a hold of that right foot again, gently drawing it towards you. And at this point, if you want to let the left foot descend, you can. You're trying to take a hold of the big toe side of the foot so that the heel can come towards the outer portion of your body instead of towards the tailbone. Bakasana. Good, release that side, bring the right forearm in front, pick up that left heel, wrap that left hand behind your back, find your foot, press it downward. And just observe, you may be more or less limber here. You may notice something that's preventing you on this side that you didn't experience on the previous side. Don't judge it, don't label it. Try not to even really identify with it. Gently release. Instead of just doing the Sphinx, we're going to do the yen form. You can be here. You can be more in sit. Whatever serves your back better. So the true self is really aligned with peace. So any disturbances of the mind and the body are part of the kleshas. And the inner work is to discover what is the root cause of that unsatisfaction. Down towards the chest. Hands are going to lodge up underneath the shoulders. Pull the feet together. Inhale. As you press up, start to draw the navel in and up, like you're doing a little mini cat stretch of the low back. And then you're going to stretch into extended child's pose. Continuing to keep that navel pulling inward and upward. Now inhale, rock up towards a cat stretch. Curl your toes and then lift the head and lengthen back to downward facing dog. That way you're getting an extra counter through this transition. On your next inhalation, let's go ahead and step the right foot forward and up between the hands. Lunge that front knee, drop down to the back knee, but keep the back toes curled underneath. Flatten your left palm, reach that right arm forward and up. Clockwork it back, and then at the same time, pick up the back foot, catch it with your hand. And if you can't quite catch it with your hand, don't worry about it. If you just keep it afloat with your toes pointed, it's gonna still activate the quads and that stomach meridian. And breathe, of course. Now gently release the right hand, left toes, pick up the back knee. When you're ready, establish the left foot at the front of the back and just gently release. So we started with some hamstring work with the piking of the legs and the double leg lifts. Notice what your experience is in the now moment. So we work through these asanas to get the kinks out of the body, to get the body out of the way, and to get the thoughts and the feelings out of the way so that we can come home to the true self, less identified with the ego. All right, we got one more flow for inhaling coming up. And exhale, we're going right back down again. Inhale, pick me up. And exhale, a release down. Inhale, the left foot's gonna step back. Now, when you step the left foot back, go ahead and heel toe the right foot over towards the edge, but where the toes turn out wider. So there's a pivot to the foot. All right, now sink your back knee, shin and foot to the floor. All right, so what we're gonna do, you guys all know the winged dragon, but we're gonna add in some more movement. So go ahead and roll to the outer edge of the foot, and you're gonna bend the arms like chaturanga, but you're gonna turn your face to the right. And then inhale, we're pressing up, bringing the head to neutral. And then as we exhale, we're lowering back in. Good, do 3 more of these nice and slow. Head is neutral on the inhale at the top, and you're turning your neck on your way down. This time, if you want to lower to your forearms and lace your hands and bow your head, you can hang out in the low flying winged dragon. So working into the hips, we're trying to release some of those pent-up emotions. Just like I said, we are not our possessions, we are not our lifestyle, we are not even our gender, we are not even our emotions. Emotions are fleeting. Inhale, we'll slowly stack back onto the hands. We're going to heel toe the right foot back where it was. So the knee comes back in. Curl the back toes under, step it into your plank. Exhale, descend to knees, right? What we did before. Kick the feet up, lower down like chaturanga. All right, we're gonna take a hold of each foot again, like we did at the very start. And at first, the chin is gonna rest on the floor. And what you're gonna attempt to do, if possible, is bring the heel of the hand towards the top of the toes. Fingertips pointed down towards the ankles, so that you're pressing the feet down, but lifting your head and chest up. So it's more of the full kind of frog, where the thighs stay down, head stays up, breathe. This is a tough one to breathe in. Exhale, come back to your chin, release the feet. Let them separate away from each other and bring your forearms up to Sphinx, but rock the hips side to side. Once you have everything loose, then you can determine, do I want to hang my head? Do I want to prop into prayer hands? Or am I ready, willing, and able to move up into seal? So you know that you have kind of overcome the ego when you finally practice long enough, and you don't feel compelled to do every suggestion the teacher is bringing in. I remember there was a plateau where I finally got to that point, and it was when I had first become a teacher. And I went to a class, and the owner of the studio knew what my body was capable of, but she didn't know where I was at that day. And we were doing a bridge pose, and I didn't want to go into wheel, and she's suggesting everybody lift the wheel. And she just came over and stood over top of me and was like, come on, Robbie, I know you can do it. Well, yeah, I could do it, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel like doing it. I wasn't in that space that day. And so what did I do? Pushed myself up into the wheel. And then I told myself when I came out, I'm never going to do that again. Because I didn't even want to do it. And that's where the ego can come in too, because we get pushed a little bit sometimes. Exhale, go ahead and drink down towards the chest, slide the hands back, slide the feet together, push up to all fours, squeeze that lower belly in, rock back like extended child's pose, give yourself a counter, and then pull that belly in, lifting back to cat stretch, curling the toes under, launching into downward facing dog. Return to downward facing dog. The belly's still hugging in, right? This is still considered a counter pose for the back bend. So try not to sway the back. One last breath. Let calmness radiate throughout every cell and fiber of my being. Inhale, the left foot's going to step through. Go ahead and heel toe the foot over, bring the left hand to the inside. Remember the toes slightly pivot away. Drop the back knee when you're ready to do so. And then you can roll to the outer edge of the foot to bend the knee wider. And you're going to drop low like chaturanga, turn your face to the left. And then inhale, press up, neutralizing the neck. Exhale, sink low. This is replacing our chaturangas today. We're doing at least 5 of these. It's okay if your breath takes you into more. And once you've done at least 5, come on down to your forearms. You can always build blocks underneath your forearms. Hands laced together. Feel free to bow the head and close the eyes. I also want to do these half lunges to keep us a little lower to the ground. If you have a hard time getting grounded, this is one of the ways that you can help yourself. Kim and I are in a Reiki Master group, and I don't know if you received it the other day, Kim. It was something I think Maggie passed along to Allison, and she passed it on to me. Anyway, it shows this meme of this girl sitting on the ground barefoot, her legs wrapped around a tree, her hands behind her digging in the dirt, and she's got this look on her face. And then he says, girl, you got to get grounded. And then it says me, what I'm doing. Inhale slowly, lift the head up. Stack back onto your hands. Heel toe the left foot over. Frame it with the other hand. Curl the back toes under. We're stepping it up to the top of the mat and dropping right back in. Next inhalation, I want you to bend your knees. And once you bend your knees, we're going to bring the hands to prayer position at the heart, lifting up like we would in chair pose. So when you lift up enough to create some space, your right ankle is going to come across your left knee. You're going to sit down a little deeper. And then the hands are going to be low enough at this point to take a hold of the underside of the foot and knee. And you're going to stand up and bring the right leg towards the belly or chest, like a standing form of pigeon. Balance and breathe. Slowly come back down. Right ankle over the left knee. Left hand to the waist. First two fingers around the right big toe. When you're ready, you're coming up again, but into Padangusthasana A. Always hold the knee. Hands to heart, bend the knees. Left ankle crosses over the right. Down and back a little deeper. And pull to the leg. Bring it with you. Standing pigeon. Bring back down. Right hand to the hip, fingers laced around the big toe. Bring the foot with you. Padangusthasana A. I want to do one more pose, bring us back to the floor. I did record a free meditation. It's a chakra gratitude meditation. So it's on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out later. And we're going to do Malasana. Well, not Malasana. We're going to do the garland pose. A little different than Malasana. Bring the heels together, toes apart. Kind of like the way we pivoted the foot in the wing dragon. Start to elevate the heels and squat down. Heels are up, toes are down. And your hands are going to be used for balance at first. And we're going to walk the arms ahead. Splay the legs apart and bow in between. Then to go into the full garland, wrap one arm around behind. Hands are resting right behind your feet. And you can droop the forehead down a little more. Some people even like to take the arms combined in front of the shins, hands to the outer hips. This is more of a relaxed way to do it. The garland represents gratitude. And so this particular day is another day like the 10th and the 11th of this month, where they're saying keep your vibrations as high as possible. And to do that, we have to keep the ego in check. Go ahead and bring the hands back around in front. That's actually also working for our final inversion. So bring yourself down to your seat. Keep your knees up. Hook the left arm around in front. And then draw the navel in and up. Let your heart shine up. And then take that right arm behind your back. Stack it to the floor. And twist through your spine. You can also take the left arm to the outer edge of that right knee to twist a little bit more through the upper part of your back. Exhale, let's unwind. Now the right arm can wrap around in front. Elongate the vertebrae, left hand stacks behind you. So this is what I shouldn't do anymore, but you're obviously welcome to. Your body says yes. Your right elbow can go to the outer edge of the left knee to crank a little more. As long as it doesn't prohibit your breath. Exhale, unwind. Oh, let's just try it. I'm losing time, but straighten your legs. I wanted to end with the pose that lots of times ends Ashtanga. So if you drive your right foot in, if you can't do lotus, just do half. And if you can't do half lotus, just do a cross-legged position, okay? If you can do full lotus, let your right foot come up first, then your left. Hands behind the back, fingertips come together, wiggle them upstream, and there's always an alternative for this too. You can cross your arms instead. So fan your elbows out, lift your head up, drive the navel in as you slowly hinge forward and bow out. Yoga Mudra. Gratitude to all the yogis and yoginis who have kept this practice alive and well. Grateful to Patanjali for compiling the philosophy into one book. Gratitude to the freedom that we have to be able to collectively meet here, especially at this time. Grateful to Jen for opening up the studio. I'm grateful to each of you being here, fully present. Grateful to the healthy and balanced ego that we need to get us through everyday life. Gratitude to reconnect to our truest and highest self. Inhale, slowly start to rise up. That was our final position. So you can release that lock of the legs. Feel free to utilize any props of your liking or Shavasana. If you want a back bend, or if you'd rather have it on your knees. The most important thing is getting the body comfortably still. So think about, that phrase, and I think it was Pink Floyd that used it in the song, comfortably numb. Right? That comfortably numb is where we're not really dealing with life or reality. We want to become comfortably still. Comfortably still so that we're keeping and maintaining the awareness that we've awakened through this practice. Watching the stream of thoughts as they run, occasionally through the mind. But remembering as we get still, as we get quiet, as we begin to meditate, pulling away from our identification and labeling and judgment of these things. As the mind empties, we start to see the vast lake of the cosmic mind. And this cosmic, vast lake of the mind can reflect the soul that is deep in the heart. It can also reflect our relationship to the universe. And it's in this space that we experience duality falling away, and we get to taste the divine. Let this be our practice now. mindfulness will shine, but all I want you to do is place your right hand on your back, the left hand over your chest. Let me share with you a quote from Paramahansa Yogananda. The superior method of soul living frees the yogi who, shorn of his ego prison, tastes the air of omnipresence. Take a deep breath in, slow breath out. Inhale, stretch the arms overhead, elongate the legs. And exhale, if you're flat on your back, you can hug. Rock and tip and sway your body from side to side. Before rolling to one. Coming up for seat. Sit together. Hopefully this practice has helped us to break free from the restraints of the ego. Bring us home to our true nature. Your hands now on your heart. My soul sees and recognizes your soul, and I bow in deep respect to you.